Welcome. Today is Saturday, and I'm happy to say that another day, another sunrise, another opportunity. Today, my group of Twin Flames Starseeds are meeting for their support talk. And I want you to know that you can actually join through Patreon, which is on my link tree on my profile page. I charge $9.99 per month. We meet every Saturday, sometimes every Sunday. We change it. And I wanted to invite you to consider joining the group, because once it hits, I would say 10 or 11, I would split the group into two, because I want to keep it small. I want to keep it at 11, no more than 11 at a time. And I think it's great because it gives everyone the opportunity to ask questions. My last 3 lives I've done, you can go on my YouTube, the opportunity to ask questions. My last 3 lives I've done, you can go on my YouTube channel and check out some of the things I've been talking about regarding the divine masculine, the broken masculine, the toxic masculine, toxic patriarchy, toxic matriarchy, and really deep explorations. But in our group, we ask the most, what you might think of as very mundane questions, and but questions that are important, that impact the self-worth, in the daily life of women. The group is made up of women, and eventually I'd like to try to get a group of men. And I've been trying to form these groups having a man lead the group, but it always falls apart. It's the weirdest thing. Now, it doesn't mean that men don't have groups. Don't get me wrong. One of my a psychologist I was very fond of back 6-7 years ago is a Buddhist, and he ran an amazing group. He had a couple groups of men, one that dealt with guys that were in jail. And he was very, how would I say, infinite, expansive in his way of thinking. He'd gone into the jungles to visit the Great Mother, right? The plant medicine, a few times, I'd say 4 or 5 times. And he believed in its healing capability. And did you notice he went to do the Great Mother medicine? He did the feminine energy of Aya. And Aya expanded his consciousness that it was already pretty fucking dope into something just where he was able to balance his feminine energy even more. He said so. And so he became much better at working with men, especially men who were incarcerated. But whenever I try to delegate a masculine to take over because I want to, I really want to push masculine groups as well, it falls apart. And so I don't know, I don't know what's going on with the masculine circle. I do know that men are not doing as well as women, and this is documented. This is known, and this should be a concern to you as women. It should be a great concern, especially if you're raising sons, because you should want your sons to meet the love of their life and settle down in a monogamous or polyamorous, whatever the hell they're into something that's lasting and beautiful. And it could be. It actually could be. So in my last 3 lives, and I urge you to watch them, sit down and commit to understanding what I'm deconstructing as to what is causing the harm in our psyche, both in the feminine and masculine realm. But I will say, if any of you are males who are listening to me right now, the feminine sex is hell-bent on healing herself. She is pulling out all the stops. She's going deep into the bowels of darkness. She is pulling out her shadows, her fears, and her own toxic ugliness, and she is looking at it. What are you doing? What are you doing? And this is important. I think it's a fair question. What are you fucking doing? Because you have brothers right now who are self-deleting. And then you continue talking about male loneliness. And nothing's being done by the masculine realm. You've got guys, losers like, and he's a loser, I'm sorry. What you have in your bank account does not make you a winner. Yeshua was poor. He had no money. And he was the best of men. So money is not something I equate with success. To me, success is being liberated by the 3D tentacles of self-harm. Because some way, somehow, if you do not face your ugly parts, you will self-harm in subtle ways and eventually in overt ways, and maybe even the final way. So I wanted to take a moment to answer some questions. I was hoping you could ask me some questions. And I think, like usual, I'm going to just take a shot. It's all women right now, isn't it? There isn't one man on this particular live, as usual. So I want you to ask me some questions. Whatever questions come up, you're welcome to ask, and I'll answer them. Think of it as Dear Abby, for those of you who remember. Dear Abby was a column that was nationwide where women wrote in and men wrote in questions, and she would answer the questions printed on printed letters. She would do that. So good evening, my sister, my beautiful sister. Please follow Andromeda Flame. You might want to scroll up here. Follow Andromeda Flame. She's got amazing content on chakra healing, on twin. She's a twin ray, on a twin flame healing, and she also works with me, and she's amazing. And so I have questions myself, but I really want you to ask me anything you want. We're having the meeting today at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to join, it's on Patreon, and I highly recommend you join. They're an incredible group of women from 30 to 63, and I think it's a pretty awesome group. And it's really me giving back, but it's also them giving back to me and me giving back to them. And it's a beautiful cycle because I learn from them. Hopefully they learn from me. We learn from each other. We support each other. We love each other. They can talk about anything. There's no judgment. There might be shock, but there's no judgment. I'm not going to lie and not say there's shock, but sometimes it could be shock, right? Because there are lifestyles that trigger women, like polyamory is a triggering mechanism that most monogamous women, are fucking like, oh my God, there's a fear factor that comes in of always being an option, you see? And for example, and we have been exploring jealousy and female jealousy against females, younger females. It's ugly. It's an ugly thing. It's an ugly door to open. Okay. It's an ugly door. Okay. No one wants to open that fucking door. But I kind of resent women who keep talking about Handmaid's Tale, and they seem to freaking forget that in the background or foreground are women who are handling and subjugating other women. And the argument is always, well, but they're being controlled by the patriarchy. And I'd say, bullshit. The suffragettes were definitely controlled by the patriarchy, and they rose like feral lionesses to fight for their rights. So I don't want to hear that shit. And we are more free in the Western world than we've ever been in the recorded history of this planet. So when I look at women who hate all men and men who hate all women, let's be honest, because we got that going on too, in levels that are quite dangerous. I mean, ultimately, it's a rare woman that's going to annihilate a man, but it's not so rare that a man's going to annihilate a woman. Let's be honest. And the fact that there's a defensiveness, I was watching. There's an old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I was watching Nick Fuentes being interviewed by Tucker Carlson. Knowledge is power, my friend. And he looks like a little 12-year-old boy. He lives in his mother's basement, I believe. And he really doesn't like women, which makes and it's he needs to go into therapy with a healed man, not a woman, a healed man. And I don't mean a feminist man. I'm going to be honest with you, a man who's interested in human rights. Do you understand that? Not an Ellen Alda, but perhaps a Mel Gibson, who would put foot to ass and say, look, I fucked up. I've been addicted. I went off. I've lost my shit. I married a bimbo. Not his first wife, obviously, the second one. Okay, the one where you have the famous recording. I've done all that. And I've reflected on my choices. Why would I leave a perfectly good marriage for an asshole? Case in point, what's this name? Bezos. He marries. When you look at his first wife, Bezos, beautiful woman, actually, in my opinion. Because no makeup, beautiful, large eyes, expressive, sweet smile. She's very human rights. She's very actually concerned with women's rights. And she donates to women causes. But he married a perfectly a beautiful woman who, inside and out, from what I've seen, I could be wrong, but so far so good. And who chose to fuck him because she wanted to. Chose to make love to him, wake up in the morning with him because she wanted to, and they amassed a fortune. Left her for his current wife, who looks like the Joker, and I'm not being mean, I'm being real, who anyone with the right check, the right zeros on that check, can have. Anyone can have that bitch. Shit, I'm sure woman could have that bitch. So why do men do that? Why do men do that? Constantly. And I grew up with these stories of women putting their men, this is 1950s, 1960s, putting their men through college while they worked a podunk job, a piece of shit job, putting their degree and career to the side for the man. This is a classic story. By the way, this was big in the 70s. I remember growing up watching those stories. And as soon as the man gets his PhD, he gets his jury doctorate, he becomes an attorney, whatever the fuck he becomes, right? He leaves her and trades her in for a bimbo. Usually 10, 15, 20, 30 years younger than him. It's a classic story. And he trades her for a woman who, with the right zeros on that check, one and multiple zeros, or, you know what I'm saying? Anyone can have her. With the right, if you give me the right amount, I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll be your girl. And it's almost like many of you men have lost the understanding of how loyalty is. I can't even say it's worth its weight in gold. It's worth everything. Everything. And then, in contrast, you'll meet women who will stay with a man and become celibate if he's in a wheelchair, will care for this aging man or, ailing man, and not get her sexual, needs met. And she will stay there for 15, 20 years, losing her flush, losing her youth, going into the 50s and 60s. Then he dies, and then she's alone. And yet, and I'm not going to put men down, all of them, but few men do this. Few men offer this kind of loyalty. Some of them do, but not enough. It's an imbalance. So how are men being taught to selfishly always choose themselves, even to the harm of their kids? There are men, and you know this, who are in their 70s with women who are younger than their own daughters. And that, I'm sorry, that's a psychological mindfuck. And yet, there are groups like the one I run with Andromeda Flame that are all over the world that cater to women going through deep excavation And I'm sorry, how many groups are there of men? I know of two men in my personal life, friends, that would love to be part of a group, that have tried to launch these groups, and it's fucking crickets. And it's upsetting to me. It's upsetting to me. Because we're not going to get there. I mean, I would think that men would want to be part of being the co-architects of the new earth. And more women are realizing that it will be a matriarchal push, a divine matriarchal push into 5D. Because there's not enough of you men doing a fucking thing. You're not doing a fucking thing. Except sucking your thumb, curling up with your bottle, or whatever illicit shit you're taking. I'm not sure what else to say. If you're a man that has balls, if you're a man that wants to be that divine masculine in our group, that's willing to strip your shit away, you're welcome. We will embrace you like our brother, and we will love you, and we will cater to you, and we will give you sacred space, and you will be safe. Would that be true if I joined a group with men? Or would I be ridiculed and sexualized and put down and ignored? Those are some fucking, I think, those are my questions. What are your questions? What questions do you have? I agree, Tony. There's just aren't enough men doing the real work. Absolutely, my love. Yeah, here we go. I love it. Some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community. There's always a. And then, last night I was doing a live. I've been struggling with this. Some men don't want to be better men. Women too. The mirror of a real partner is too much for them. I thank you for saying that, Andromeda. Again, follow Andromeda and Jillian. Out of the patriarchy and to evolve is to connect and love women. You would think it's important, it's real and raw. Our group is really, I personally, if a man came to our group and said, I want to join your group, can I join your group? And I would say, absolutely. Absolutely. Share your shit, man. And I would tell women, hold on, because once a man opens his mind to trust you with his darkness may trigger shit in you. Hold tight. Don't lash out. Men's sexual fantasies have been controlled, right? Fantasies have been controlled by the machine, the matrix machine. And I talked about it in depth, in the last two videos. There's a part 1 and part 2, and they're called Twin Flames, Twin Rays, How the Template of Sacred Union Was Destroyed. Listen to it. Please listen to it. Know what the fuck was done to you 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, 2,000 years ago. And every time we were men, every time we incarnated as men, and I know for some of you women, it's hard for you to even imagine yourself as a man. And I've never understood that. Having been in a past life as a man does not make you, how do I put this? There are women out there that feel that to say, I've only been in my feminine energy and I've only incarnated as a woman makes you more feminine. It doesn't actually. It actually doesn't. It makes you afraid of seeing that you were a man, and maybe a bad man, maybe a fucking violent man. I've had to face those shadows. And it makes me a very balanced, or much more balanced person than had I been in denial of being just a woman in all my incarnations. The only truth to my story, for me, right, it's my truth. That doesn't mean it's true, but it's my truth, is that in my incarnations with my twin, I've always been the woman. He's always been the man. But in all my other incarnations, I've been the woman. And so some women will say, oh no, I just don't connect to that because I'm just so feminine and I'm just such a Barbie. And there are men who have such misogyny and they don't even know it. They want to fuck us, but they don't want to fucking realize that they were us in past lives, who can't fathom being a woman. Can't wrap their head. I've been a woman. I've had breasts. I've breastfed. I've pushed a child into the world from between my thighs. I've made love to men. I've ridden men to the promised land. And yeah, you were that, barmaid with the friendly tits. And yet men can't fucking wrap their heads around that. It's the weirdest fucking shit. I can't even believe it. To me, let me just say, it's reincarnation 101. You've been a man, you've been a woman. Okay? You've been gay, you've been straight, you've been celibate your whole life. You've been cruel, barbaric, savage, and you've been incredibly kind, loving, and you've done all these things. And now we've come to this new age, right? This, and I hate using that word because, oh my God, it's attached to so much toxicity. But you've come to this new Satya Yuga, Golden Age. You're at the doorstep of it. You can feel the light, and you can feel the breeze, the sea breeze hitting your face, right? You can smell that ocean. You're about to come over that hill, right? Which is 5D ascension. And you're letting it all go. You're letting all that bullshit go. But before you let anything go, you've got to face what you want to let go. First face it, then you can let go. That means is as a man, you can't fathom being a woman. You better sit and squat on, squat, lean against a tree trunk and squat on your haunches, barefoot, and feel the motherly healing energy of Pachamama, Bhumi, Gaia, Mother Earth. And then ask yourself, what is wrong with me? Because that's a good question. What is wrong with me that I can't fathom being, because I'm so masculine. I'm such a man. I've never been a woman. And similarly to the women, do the same work. Because if you can't write, you're not going anywhere. You're, swear to God, you're not fucking going anywhere. Except back into the machine. Okay? And your liberation is full on knowledge. And you're not going to know every incarnation, every nuance. You're not supposed to. The downloads of the incarnations you need to remember are given to you by the Akasha Masters for a reason, for your healing, for your deliverance, for releasing those some scars permanently. And once you learn that lesson, you don't have to learn the other 20 lessons because it's almost like a waterfall of self-realization. It unlocks the doors of illusions so that you fall into the embrace of knowledge. And that is really important, probably the most important step you can take. And it's again 101, reincarnation. So as a man or a woman, what questions do you have? Women will rule with their energy. Yeah. I've been on Twin Flame and we've been fighting. Well, the question is, but about what? Here, let me go in order because I love this. Aloha from Hawaii. Beautiful. Oh man, hang on, let me see this. So quantum love language, you respond, oh man, these trends are harmful. It's not about scent anything. Hang on, let's see. What trend? The latest okay. The latest twin flame trend is my twin isn't healing, spirit will bring me a soulmate. Where are they? I've been saying the soulmate thing for a long time. A long time. It's not a trend. It's a decision. Thank you, my love. And I have a black cat. You know that. Thank you, Drama. It's not a trend. It's a decision. And for some women, it will be the only decision they can make. I'll give you an example. I met my twin, and then I was the runner. The masculine is trash. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go with that. I think stay the fuck away. There's nothing divine about them. There's nothing divine about them. Watermelon kayak kai. Okay, I'm going to say something to you, my little watermelon friend. Yeshua is a divine template of the divine masculine. Krishna is a divine template of a masculine ray, a massive fractal of God. Rama, Shiva, Osiris, King Arthur is a template of a divine masculine. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? I had a man last night who said I was angry. And again, another man trying to control my power and my passions. And just like I didn't tolerate his bullshit, I don't tolerate women who hate men to this level at all, because you haven't studied, and I know you haven't, the psychology of what created this fractured gender war that was really created 2,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, and trickled down through the, or, Abrahamic religions, the three branches of Abrahamic religions. Okay, so I really don't want to hear male bashing. This is not the conversation we're having here. You've been brainwashed? No, you've been brainwashed. Okay, I honestly, what makes her say, who, honestly, Andromeda, who gives a fuck what makes her think that? It's an angry little girl that has a lot of fucking trauma, that hates men and keeps attracting men. Her frequency is attracting men. Let me tell you something, little girl. When you're out there in the world and you're a woman like me, I'm so fucking intimidated. Men step aside. Do you understand, little girl? So I don't have to fear men. Men fear me for the most part. Most men fear me. And I'm not the only one who knows this, because when you become intimidating, and you don't mean to be, but there's a level of strength and a no bullshit gaze that makes literally men step aside. One of the psychological games that men play is you walk up a stairs. I did this in gym. I go up a stairs and I'd see the man coming down holding the balustrade, the railing, and literally think I was going to fucking give him space. And I wouldn't. I'd walk right up to his chest and he'd have to fucking move. I don't hate men, but I don't like the subtle games they play. But I will never tolerate anyone who is racist, who's into misogyny or misandry. I will never tolerate that. Your rage is your problem, and you're the one that's been brainwashed by the machine of feminine, toxic bitches that do not want to heal, they want to blame. Most of you who are angry at men were raised by angry, toxic women who were your mothers, who hated your father. Okay? That's one aspect. It's one of many aspects. Am I being politically incorrect? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. But I do not tolerate racism or gender manipulation. Okay, so the little t-shirt that they've been selling for the last 2 years on Girls Will Be Girls, where there's a woman holding the head of a man, the head. It's not funny at all, because I've seen too many men save animals and women and children from bad situations, just like I've seen men harm women and children. And I'm really talking about the divine masculine who walks this planet, who is paying, you're making men who are good men pay for the toxic fucks in the planet. And that's not fair. Just like men are making good women, and they're making good women suffer. I know, because I work with women. 80% of my clients are women, are being harmed by men who think all women are bimbos and just want the bag, the money. Okay? So either you want to be part of the solution, or go right back into your hamster wheel of the 3D matrix. So do what you got to do. Misandry is impossible. It's like saying black people can't be racist. And being of color, I can say that. It's like saying white people can't be hit with racism. They can, and they are. It's like saying Asian people can't be racist. That's a lie, and you know that. Okay? So that's kind of like a dumb comment. It's a stupid comment, and it comes from ignorance. So thank you for being on my live, but honestly, it's a boring conversation. because any younger generation is never going to fall for your dogma BS. I'm so sorry because I'm so angry because I've only been able to have my big O with my machines or my other girlfriends, but I've never had a man fucking come to me and just blow my world, and I blew his world, and I've never had that. So because you're such an older person, you would know what it's like to realize that it's dogma to love a man, to lick him from head to toe and have him literally melt in your hands and having him literally capitulate while we have this incredible tantric experience. No, I'd rather play with my toys and talk to my girlfriends about how I hate men and how girls will be girls, and I'm wearing my beautiful t-shirt so proudly that I hate men. I just that because I love that dogma, because that dogma, well, I don't call it dogma, it's really me being so young and so fucking powerful, and I know men are dogs, and they're all dogs, and they just want me, and they've sexualized me, and I'm just such a victim. Have a good day. Enjoy your life. You should have fun. Hopefully you'll get, thank you, moderator. So she's, you're just spamming now. Have a good day. Bye-bye. No, but I mean, I wanted to kind of like mimic her mindset of being, did you see when we're talking, do you see what men are dealing with? The problem is we don't have a lot of good men, but the good men we have, I will fucking protect them to my death. But why? I have one, my son. I will never have women like her harm good men like the unicorns that I have in my life that need to be left the fuck alone. Now, I will never lie to you and say there are not. They are, because I even tell myself, I am so sick of men. Men are fucking out. Most men are. Most men are. But the ones that are good, and it's funny because I'm remembering, and I don't know where I remember this. I was a little girl. I had a passion for Amazons. And I remember how there was not a lot of men in the Amazonian tribe, but they were good, masculine, powerful men that they give babies. And it was kind of like a polyamorous situation. I'll be honest. And I know that there's a planet off in the Pleiadian constellation, whatever, where there's a tribe of women. It's a matriarchal system. I saw it in my meditation. I was shown that because I was trying to heal my own feeling that monogamy is the only way. And for me, it is. Okay, that's how I'm wired. But I wanted to still explore that. And there was these women, powerful women, some more Shakti energy, some more Kali energy, and some of them more Kuan Yin energy. But all of them had their place in society, in that society. And there were men that were of a high level of honor. And they adored these women, and some women preferred a lesbian relationship, and some women would bond with one man, and some women wouldn't care to bond with any man. They just did their thing, and those men enjoyed themselves in a polyamorous situations. But it was a matriarchy. Okay, so my point to you is we don't need that many men, but we need good men. That's my point. And I will protect him to the death. I'm not going to have these little bimbos, because she's a bimbo. She thinks she's so smart and so swaggering. I'm such your dogma BS. And it's funny because their anger, I've talked to a lot of these young people. They're not having the sex they should be having. I remember Cosmopolitan in the 70s, every fucking month had an article on how to get the big O. How to get 7 big O's, it was all about the big O, because women at that time had never had a big O. And I thought that in the 21st century, we would have tantric power coming out of our ass. It'd be an explosion of firework of people having the best sex of this generation. No, they are fucking having the worst sex. They're not having, and playing with toys isn't sex. I'm sorry. I don't want to trigger you, but if you want to, I'll teach you some shit. Okay, I'll teach you some shit that will make you so connected to your body and so connected to your ability to use sex magic for virtually anything you want. If you're healthy and emotionally healed and you're not going through depression, right? That you will never go back to your toys. I'll tell you that right now. Okay? It's not to shame you if you're doing it. Most women do. I've done it, just so you know. But then I moved out of that whole fucking debacle into absolute sovereignty and absolute connection with the universe and myself and my hands. That was it. I'm being very brutally honest. But because of that journey and because of my alignment with my twin, my beloved, right? I'm going to call him my beloved. The sex I had was, and I was pretty sexual and pretty wild. I was a wild child, okay? I was a beach bunny. And that's not meaning that I had 100 men, much less 50, much less 20. But it's to say that I understood tantric sex, and once I mastered it for myself, okay? And my beloved, we had some of the most women, unfortunately, in their 20s that are that angry. I've never had that. And I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. I've talked to too many people who are just what they call in French, coincé, blocked. Coincé, blocked. And I was shocked to see, I was shocked. I thought women in their 20s were like having a great time, and they're not. And it's because the anger blocks the root chakra. And even if they're having the big O, it's a big O coming from a place of toxicity and frustration. And there's that anger. And see, now that's anger. What I express is passion, urgency, and sometimes, yes, righteous anger. But she'll never have what I've had. Never. And in Lady Chatterley's Lover, okay, the book Lady Chatterley's Lover, one of the greatest books ever banned again and again and again. One of the things that the caretaker of, I forgot, Lord Chatterley, he's in a wheelchair, so blah, blah. She's talking to Lady Chatterley, and she says, because her man's died, she said, when you are with a man who warms you to your bones, something like that, it will feed you for the rest of your days. When you've had this kind of intimacy because you are no longer angry at men, because I've been the girl that was angry at men, don't get me wrong, but at 19, by the time I was 22, 21, 22, I was done with that anger against men. But at 18, 19, I was angry at men. And for the obvious reasons: catcalling, grabbing, groping, stealing kisses, harassment, shit like that, okay? But then I wasn't. Because my beloved, okay, the man who became my husband, the father of my child, gently called me out on it. He had problems, don't get me wrong. And we both had problems. We both actually reared each other. We grew up together, okay? But one thing he did is teach me that not all men were pigs, but a lot of men were broken. That's what I'll say that. And so, but our intimacy, even with him, our intimacy was absolutely tender and beautiful. And you can't have that if you're angry at your man, or at any man. And so I wonder, when you're single and maybe you're having sex angrily with men. Can you imagine? And I know women who've done that for money and for free. Having sex and yet hating the man at every step, every stroke, every move, hating that man. Can you imagine? How is that going to be great sex? So that's some toxic shit that I have come to realize over the decades on this planet, having conversations, working with clients from all over the world. It's pretty wild. You know what I mean? So anyway, so the conversations that we have in our group, right, our support group, is of that. And we go deeper. I go into details. In fact, I have gone into sexual details to express and to explain my clients. I've had to go down in the weeds with them and say, okay, look here, this is what you do. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and I mentioned that. Okay, I mentioned some details to a young man who said, how do I know if she's she's having the big O? And I had to explain to him how to see without having to ask. What steps to take to see without having to ask. Do you understand? You would have thought that this would have been the 21st century would have birthed some fucking powerful tantric lovers. I'm sure they're out there. Don't get me wrong. I know there's some incredible people that are in their 20s right now having the best sex and the best intimate connections with their beloveds out there in the world. Don't get me wrong. But fuck, not enough. Well, they're not coming up on my live. And and they're not coming up in my practice, and I guess because why would they don't fucking need me. Hallelujah, right? But let me just say that this type of sex I'm talking about will create a runner. That's the irony of ironies. That kind of kiss, that kind of intimacy, that kind of a series of big O's that shake your fucking world will create a runner in mass confusion. And they'll go out to try with other men, in particular, will try with other girls just to see, what do you mean? It's got to be a one off. It's got to be a one off. Maybe it was just because it was Friday. And they try with another girl and it's flat line. And then they come back to you and it's fucking blowing their mind. And they go back out and it's a flat line. They don't understand the soul connection. So yeah, I don't tolerate that kind of hate. Though I did live it, so I don't know how old she was, a little watermelon person. But I'm not sure how old she is. But from my download is telling me she was about 27, in her late to mid 20s. That means she was born in the late 90s, and it means that and that kind of ferocity at this late stage in her development, she's fucked. She's fucked unless something fantastic blows her mind. It could be a man who literally saves her fucking life, and wants nothing from her, and gives her a brotherly or fatherly energy. It could be that. Maybe that's what's going to happen for her to fucking do a 180. Because at that point, when you're that fucked up, it's going to be permanent, in my opinion, unless something magic. I mean, people do change, people do change overnight. I always use the word, we're coming into the holidays, and watch Christmas Carol. He changes overnight. Ebenezer Scrooge has a very bad night with three ghosts: Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future. And it's a very bad fucking night. And he does a massive 180. People do that. People change. So I hope a little watermelon bimbo changes into a fucking powerhouse, because that kind of hate is going to only create a boomerang effect towards herself, you see. And the more she hates men, the more she will attract men that are hateful. Absolutely hateful. That's how it works. And you can take that to the bank. Let me see I've been with my twin for 35 years. God bless you. Good for you. It's really dangerous how loud the message to hate men is, when we should ask our men to change to stop the toxic behavior. Well, our men need to transform, and our men need to, when you look at the beginning of 300, I remember I was so sickened by the collective masculine, the collective feminine, that I actually bought 300, the movie about the Spartan. I bought 300, not for the battle. I don't give a fuck about battles. I wanted to have the beginning of the movie where there's such respect for the king and his queen. And before he leaves, they make love, right? But the way he looks at her, the way she looks at him. And this beginning, when you start the movie, you'll see a little boy, he's about probably 8 or 9, going out into the wilderness for a ritual shift. The Native Americans have done it, the Spartans did it, many Greek, Roman, all the nations across the planet have done rituals where you send the child out into the wilderness to spend a night or two, and hopefully you survive it, and you come out transformed. And it's an important thing that it's a process. It's very important. Like, for example, when a girl got her menses, right, got her period, there would be a whole ritual. And we don't have rituals. When a girl says, "Oh my God, mom, I need I need napkins," or whatever she's going to go for, there's no ritual. And we need to go back to our ancient ancestors' wisdom in creating rituals. And why am I saying all that? Well, because men who have these rituals as boys will end. And I don't mean blood sport. I don't mean hunting and then putting blood on the kid's fucking face. Okay, not that bullshit. I'm talking about real shamanic rituals. Okay? And the boy comes out feeling like there's a shift, a light that emerges, a flame that lights up within him, that he feels like he's capable. The girl feels honored that now she is part of the high priestess group, that she now is part of the moon cycle, that she is now part of the great, the balance and healing of this planet, that to bleed every month is incredible, that it's a gift, that it's a purging. It's not just for herself and her body to purge. It's also a collective purging. We're not explaining that to our children. And we tell it to our sons. There are men to this day who will not buy their wife tampons. They won't. They're embarrassed. So, you see? So we have a lot of work to do. But anyway, I got to get my head together because I've got to get ready for this group in about an hour and a half. It was a challenge. We didn't learn our lesson until 2 years ago. This is so soulful. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So the message to fracture the masculine and feminine, please, I urge you, please go to my YouTube channel, follow me there, listen to the twin flame, the one I just did last night, if you want to skip that. But if you want to go deep in the weeds with the masculine, by the way, the twin flame couple, hang on, let me call you by name. Go 91, go there and listen to it with your man. Okay, go listen to it with your man, because it goes deep into some of the things that have fractured twin flames from being capable of being together. And you may revisit themes that you've already overcome, but it will give him a greater sense and perspective of what was done to the collective masculine over the last 2,000 years. Please go listen. I urge you, because I want you to completely cement this new path, so that you guys literally, when you drop your bodies, maybe you even do it simultaneously together within an hour of each other. I want you to be happy. I want you to be bonded for the rest of your lives together with no fucking outside bullshit. Okay, so please go to that page. And I'm not, you don't have to comment, you don't have to like it, but go listen to it. Okay, most people never fucking comment and never like my videos, though I'll have like 70 people watching it and one like, and that's not for that. I just want you and your man, it has to be you and your man, to listen to what I'm saying, because then once you'll have aha moments. I'm pretty damn sure, because the excavation of what I've been unearthing, I have a whole playlist on Mary, Magdalene, and Yeshua, and I start out with polygamy, and then I broke down Aubrey Marcus and his bullshit. But I'm not saying to go all the way back there. But what I am saying is, if you could listen to, because I'm talking about porno, I'm talking about addiction, I'm talking about the 1%, I'm talking about the 99%, I'm talking about why this was done, and how it was done, and how long it's lasted, and how we perpetuate these patterns and templates of 3D oppression from one incarnation to another, carrying the baggages of the last life into this life, into the next life, into the next life. And this is the time when we can actually fucking completely purge and destroy this template to step into the platform of 5D, a new template. Okay, thank you. I most definitely will. Thank you. I appreciate it. And let me know if you ever come on my live again. Let me know how you liked it, or let me know. You can private message me or whatever. All right, my loves, I'm going to let you go. I want to thank you for being here. Watermelon brought a nice little perspective of absolutely pure anger. I thought that was interesting. And thank you all for being who you are. And please commit to your power to heal yourself. It's an ever... if as long as you're aware of what you need to check, even if you're doing shit that's fucked up and you're witnessing it, just forgive yourself. Realize I will fix this. Right now I need to lose my shit, or right now I'm doing something toxic and I kind of know I am, but I'm going to sit with this after this. Like some of you won't be able to stop these patterns of behaviors. Some of you will be able to stop it. But regardless, make sure that you give yourself sacred space to forgive these patterns. Let it go, and be aware that we've never been this close to this level of ascension in recorded history, right? Never. So I love you all. Love this, Tony. Beautiful life, even with the infantile interruption. I love you. Thank you for being my Andromeda Flame, and I, mostly Andromeda Flame right now, where I'm gonna jump in, but she is, we'll be launching a twin flame course, and it's gonna have a historical perspective. We need to do that. And I'm going to be looking at my lives and kind of pulling out some of the things I've said to flesh it out and to distill the meat of it all, so that you can, and Andromeda Flame are going to create this twin flame course that we've been sitting on for a long time. We've been thinking about it for a year. And the more we see what is being shown in the twin flame community, the more we're seeing through 2023, when Twin Flame Universe came out on Amazon Prime. We are seeing how people have monetized the pain and the shame and the loss of twins, or people looking for their twin, which is weird to me, but okay. And how they have stolen. They're grifters. They're thieves. And a lot of these twin flame coaches are harming people with their bullshit courses. Now, let me just say, okay, that part of the reason why Andromeda and I are not big in the twin flame community is we don't cater to lying to people about their journey, number one. Number two, this journey is not a romantic novel. This journey is extremely painful, and some people actually don't survive themselves in this journey. And so the course that we're putting together is something that we are very deliberately and carefully architecting, because and I'll tell you this straight up, we don't want to be entangled in anyone's twin flame journey. We don't want to owe you anything karmically. We don't want to be entrapped karmically. This is why I do pre-calls before I coach clients or read for clients or whatever I do with clients. I do pre-calls because I want to make sure that I'm a good fit, but also because I don't want to be entangled. I have my own spiritual evolution that I have to protect as well. And if somebody wants the fucking Ken and Barbie story, I'm not that person. So the course that's being created is going to be, it's going to have the beginnings and the archetypes and so forth, but it's going to be pretty raw, and you have to be willing to explore and do the work, the exercises that'll be included and so forth. There will be homework. My inner geek is flowing. Good. And so there will be homework. And I mean, when I do personal coaching, I always give people homework, books to read, meditations to do, guided meditations, things of that nature. So this is power for the core. You either want to, understand your twin flame journey and become transcendental to it, or you're going to be enmeshed in it and you're going to be victimized by it, and you're going to fucking hire coaches who basically are full of shit. And yes, we're better than most coaches. There are two coaches that I still highly recommend to you if my approach is too acidic, okay? Too raw. And that's Twin Flame 1111 Cassidy. And I am surprised at how many coaches never mention her. And I know they owe a debt to her, and I know they're reading her weekly reports. I know it for they're fucking liars. And then there's Mel Brand. And I'm more of a Mel Brand coach. Okay? So to be a twin flame coach and not to fucking give obedience to the great Cassidy at Twin Flame 1111, you're a fucking fraud. One of these twin flame coaches that you'll see him wrapped in robes and he'll be sitting cross-legged and talking, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's full of shit. And he wanted to interview me, and I sat with him. My beloved had just died of brain cancer, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't trust him. I'm starting to fucking out people. I don't give a fuck. So you want to work with us or fuck us? Go find yourself, go study with Mel Brand's wife. Go study with Cassidy. Those are the only two people I can recommend. Okay? That's it. I can't recommend anyone else. And that's it. A lot of them are, just too sleek for me. One very famous coach, she lives in Portugal. You know who you are. And she only saw her twin for 2 days. And by the way, we don't even know if it's a twin. But I'll tell you what I know about her. She had someone else open her third eye. And that's when I knew she was a fraud. No one can open your third eye. I can show you. Andromeda Flame has a whole list of how to work on your chakras. Dr. Joe Dispenza has a whole 78 minute guided meditation on how to open your third eye. No one can open your third eye. So not only does she claim she's in a twin flame situation, but she's not. She saw him for 2 days at most. She never kissed him, never fucked him, never anything. And she started a whole fucking coaching business on that 48-hour little, thing. So be careful, my friends. Yeah, ask people, hey, how long have you been on this journey? Hey, how did it start? Don't be shy. Oh, when was the last time you lived with them? Have you ever lived with them? Have you ever been in constant communication with them? Have you ever, in other words, there are questions to ask because otherwise you're dealing with someone who's not for real. Do you understand? And it's not to say, oh my God, that's really harsh, Tony, to say that. No, you're about to ask somebody advice on how to maneuver yours when they haven't even figured out how to maneuver theirs. And so that's going to be important, in my opinion. So honestly, Mel Brand's wife, she's very, very soft. I forgot her first name, but she's very soft. She's very sweet. They've been coaching since at least I came across both Cassidy and Mel Brand back in 2014. And there's another couple, Reggie, and I forgot her name, and I'm trying to remember, Twin Flame Journey, I think. And he's an older man. His name is Reggie. Remy. I'm sorry, Remy. It's Remy. And he doesn't have that many followers on YouTube, and he doesn't have that many likes, and he doesn't, but you know what? He's fucking real, and he's soft, and he's got a PhD in psychology. He's a spiritualist. He could be a Buddhist or into Hinduism. I don't know. He's got blue eyes, and he's kind of a cute little man. And I don't think he's in separation, but I think because he used to sit and do lessons on YouTube together, and me and my twin would watch them. We'd get a kick out of them. We would watch Mel Brand. And every week we would print out the Twin Flame Cassidy report and print it out and read it to each other. Okay. So I'm going to give credit to where I refine my journey. Okay. And I will give credit because I want you to have options. But I am going to start making my little comments on these fucking shysters because I just can't. Okay. So hopefully you're not going to think I'm an asshole, but if you do, then I'm not for you. You got to understand I'm coming from a place where I don't want you to be harmed. Here's why. Ago 91. I want you to be in absolute blissful union with your man for the rest of your fucking life and beyond. Why? Because it helps the planet. It helps the ascension. Your union actually heals other twins remotely without you knowing. It's a domino effect. It's a 100 monkey theory. I want you to be in union. You have to stay. That's why I'm telling you to watch my videos for free, because what the fuck, right? I want you to win. The more of you come into union, the more this planet catapults to 5D. Do you get me? And these motherfuckers are lying and stringing you along. And it's preventing us from catapulting into 5D as a collective. Individual will make it. We don't need, no offense, every individual doesn't really need, we just need ourselves to catapult ourselves out. But for the collective to do a massive shift on this planet, it's all hands on deck. Do you see? This is why I'm not going to keep silent anymore. I'm not going to be, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. No, fuck that. Gloves off. Fuck you. Fuck all of these content creators that are just literally feeding off your pain and your vulnerability, and inciting you to think, oh, do the mirror work, just do the mirror. If your twin's running, what are you running from? No, fuck you. Sometimes the twin is toxic and it's not you. Sometimes it is you. Sometimes it's both of you. Sometimes it's just you. I've actually told clients, do you realize you're the runner? They're like, what? You're the runner. Do you understand? Sometimes people aren't even aware. There are twins that are bemoaning they want to be in union with their twin. And I said to a client recently, if he said, baby, let's go, baby, pack your shit, let's go, take the kids, let's go, would you go? She went, no, I'm not ready. Exactly. You're not ready, are you? So why are you crying that he's not calling you or he's not with you? If he came to your door, bags packed, you would not leave, would you? No, I would not. Why? Because of the kids. Got you. So there are soul contracts to still finish up with your kids, with your husband, with situations, which is exactly what happened to me. My twin came to me, I was not prepared, and I shut him down. And I'm ashamed to say, and I'll admit it, I ghosted him for 6 years, wrote him a letter, said, hey, I hope you found a fabulous woman. I'll see you on the flip side of the sun. You are my you are my moon and you are everything. And then I signed it, your eternal consort, and my name. Okay. He actually, I didn't expect that, but he actually connected with me and we came into union literally months later. Do you understand? And I did not expect that. But when he came, had he come to my door, I would say, what the fuck are you doing on my door? No, I'm not ready. I have an 8-year-old to raise. What are you, crazy? I can't do this. I'm not ready. So the universe, my guides, my angels, they did something where they shut down my emotional cortex, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and basically shut me off so that I did not miss him until one day I did. And I collapsed during a power walk, literally collapsed to my knees. Okay? And I knew it was him. And it was time. I didn't know that then, but it was. So my point is that that's the kind of fucking understanding most twins, probably all twins, need to understand. Not this bullshit that these assholes are fucking, like this particular coach actually has to read everything he's saying. Read. I don't read a fucking thing. I talk from my heart. Eckhart Tolle talks from his heart. Great speakers and good speakers speak from their hearts. You don't have little fucking index cards and pieces of paper and shit to read on your screen. It comes to you. You download it. Eckhart Tolle says, sometimes I pause. You know why? Because I don't know what I'm about to say next. Bingo. If it's a truth from the heart, then you speak from your heart. If you prepare statements, that doesn't make sense. The only thing I craft are books and poetry. That's it. And I think that we need to demand more from these coaches that are taking people's fucking heart chakras, right? And boxing them in so that they can sell them a fucking coaching, sessions for like packages of $5,000 or $6,000. And then, how are you doing? Well, he still hasn't called me back. It's been 6 months. And these kinds of issues need to be handled through hypnosis, through Akashic readings, through guided meditations, through giving your client homework and follow up. What happened when you did this guided meditation? What came up? What's going? Sometimes it's not even about the twin. It's about unshed tears. It's about unseen trauma. It's about not accepting how you feel about yourself, and your very desire to live is all hinged on your twin. And that right there is a problem. So, sorry. It's like Mr. Collins in Pride and Prejudice, preparing compliments. Right, preparing compliments. I remember that. I like to string little words to create. Oh my God, I remember that line. That was such a great line. Mr. Collins and there's a scene. What is the actor's name? It is so perfectly said because he's admiring the boiled potatoes. I just love that scene. That was brilliant. Thank you. I most definitely will go right to YouTube. It's so much needed. Yeah. So I might sound like a bitch, and I may not be for you. And honey, I probably might not be. I don't know. And if you are for me and I am for you, I am honored. I get teared up whenever a client says, "I trust you. I want to work with you." I get teared up with amazing gratitude. Don't get me wrong, but my point is, my forcefulness, my rawness, my somehow foot to ass attitude is not to harm people. It's to say, you are so much fucking bigger than this. You have no idea. You will never lose your twin. Never, never, never. It will never happen. Even if you want to, you will drop this body and they will drop this body and you will meet on the other side of the veils and you will have conversations together. You will have life reviews together. You will have like literally, okay, let's look, okay, remember your life you were born in, the 20th century and you died in the 21st century. Okay. But let's look at a past life 1,000 years before. And you remember we did that pattern. We did exactly the same shit in the fucking 20th, 21st century. What the hell? We're doing the same patterns. How can we break these patterns? So there's life reviews, there's discussions, there's walks, there's lovemaking. Yeah, there's lovemaking. And it's absolutely beyond imagining, okay? And then there's meetings with the guides, meeting with the soul tribes, visiting other planets, other dimensions, having fun, visiting places you loved on this planet. It's fucking a blast. You will never not be with your twin. So once you understand that and you become transcendental, you're not afraid of shit. You're like, oh, you might get angry. You'll have your human experience. God, he's with that fucking toxic bitch. I get it. And she's a karmi, probably. And but she could also be a high level soulmate. And it's interesting because all my twin flame females, if the guy was with a woman that's really good for him, and some of them will say, she's really actually good for him. I'll be right on. Right on. Yeah. She's a high level soulmate. So she's your soulmate as well. So you all agreed to this fucking thing. So she's probably teaching me shit that you couldn't teach because you triggering too much because of your very presence. People don't understand. Twin flames are like moldavite crystals to other twin flames. Do you understand? In other words, your partner is triggered by you just sitting there because he knows that he has to be a better man. And some of these men don't want to be better men. Some of these men are too afraid of you. Some of these men feel undeserving of you. And as long as the twin flame feminine thinks, oh, well, he's with a high level soulmate and he's good, actually. I mean, I'd prefer him being with me, but I know he's in good hands with her. But then there's the other twin going, she's a toxic bitch. And I'll go, yeah, actually she is. And at that point, the obsession goes crazy. Because now the twin's going, holy fuck, he's with somebody who's going to fucking, he's already fucked up. He's going to be even more fucked up than before. So now what? And so it's not really jealousy. I wouldn't call it jealousy. I would call it more like righteous rage. Going, my God, how do I get him out of this loop? And I say to him, you can't. He's got free will. He's got a contract with this situation. And it might be that he needs to, finish the contract. Do you understand? And there's so many, oh my God, there's so many levels to this shit. It's amazing. And once you the more you go deep into this, the more transcendental you become. And then you'll be more and more of a witness of you having the human experience of grief, of the dark night of the soul. And the dark night of the soul, once you become transcendental, is never going to take you out like the first time you had it in regards to your twin. It never takes you out again. It's like you've been forged on the anvil of this twin flame grief, and you come out like a fucking samurai sword. If you know anything about samurai swords, you know that's pretty bad. It's pretty awesome. So I could say more, but I really got to go. But I want to say, again, thank you all. I will have this uploaded on the YouTube. Actually, it draws me more to you, and we're elderly. Yes, we're both elders, and it's important. And as elders, we are here to pass the baton to you. You know who I'm talking about, Tina. Love you. we're supposed to pass the baton, the flame, the twin flame, the torch of divine, supreme, sacred union. And there has been a jealousy in the 1%, and the infrastructure has been put in place. This is why I keep mentioning the same fucking movies again and again. I really, I'm so sorry. I wish I could come up with other movies, but these are the two best movies about the divine masculine feminine who are being fucked with by the 1%, by the outside environment. Braveheart, William Wallace, and Rob Roy. Okay, with Liam Neeson. Watch these movies with twin flame eyes and you'll say, holy fuck, okay, whoa. Because they were fine if these motherfuckers weren't fucking with their life. Do you understand? And that's why these movies are so important to me, because for me, they show how our males were castrated. Okay? So watch William Wallace. Watch Rob Roy. Watch how these are two very, they're perfect templates of the divine feminine, masculine, and how they enclose the divine feminine, how they protect the divine feminine. And yet in some cases, they can't protect the divine feminine with all their might. They can't. And there's a sense of failure. And some of these failures that they had is a reverberation to this incarnation. And that's what's fucking you guys up in union. So in Rob Roy, you know what happens to his wife. If you don't, go watch the movie. Then you'll see what I mean. Do you understand? The betrayal of the 1%, the machine that has literally lashed us, whipped us with the cat o' nine tails of their system, is reverberated as a samskara into these incarnations, the incarnations you sit in right now, in your avatars right now. That's why excavating here and there in any way you can, hypnosis, Akashic readings, whatever, is absolutely important. And still, because I've had a client actually, or her husband, literally got to see what he was. You would think it would have made him fucking turn around and just kick some ass in this incarnation. No, he got deeper into his addiction and his pity party bullshit and his self-destructive, angry behavior. Sometimes it doesn't work. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh yeah, that's the answer. It's going to heal you. No. I'm not going to lie to you. Why would I lie to you? You want me to take on some karmic chains around my neck? No. But most times it does work. I have a client who I just did a hypnosis with, and it was like fucking 3 hours and 40 minutes. I kid you not. And she, after everything was said, and by the way, my twin showed up in her hypnosis. I kid you not. Okay. Which he works with me sometimes from the other side of the veils. But anyway, she spoke to one of her wealthy clients, and everything we had explored in her hypnosis, literally 12 hours later comes up in a conversation, and she's been invited to do X, Y, and Z. Something opened a portal for her of opportunities. And I'm going to say, yeah, it was her excavating and trusting her soul to show her what she needed to see. And the energy was cleared. And 12 hours later, she gets a phone call. I swear to God. So that shit can happen, just like the failures can happen. So I just want you to know what I do. And I'm excited to work on this a course that Andromeda has launched. You know, we've been talking about the Twin Flame course for so fucking long. It's ridiculous. And finally, that's going to come through. And it's a work of art. It's coming from a lot of love. And if you win, we all win. My son wins. You help children being birthed to now have the new template of the sacred union with more ease than I've had as an elder, that you've had currently. Do you understand? This is why we want you to be in union. But it's got to come from the right place. Not from bullshit, not from fear. Oh my God, I can't live without my twin. I can't be in union I just can't be in my mission. It can't come from that. It's got to come from power. In this life or the next, I surrender. I surrender. I will never be without my twin. I don't have to worry. He's with some bitch. We're good. I'm good. I'm not good, but I'm good. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then when you fucking let go is when they come back. This is the weirdest thing. And if you can't be in union right now, it means, and be honest with yourself, Don't do the mirror work. Oh, well, what am I not, look in your eyes and go, am I ready? If he came to my door right now, am I ready to pack my shit and go? Be honest. Be honest. Okay? And if you're not sure on that answer, that means there's work to be uncovered that you haven't done. Don't beat yourself up. This is not about beating yourself up. It's about honesty, raw, radical, fucking ugly honesty. Sometimes it's ugly. Oh my God, I'm not ready. Here I am crying my ass out because he won't return my call. I'm not fucking ready. Holy shit. And so you become ready. You work on yourself. And what does that mean? It means you meditate. Girl, it's not hard. Fucking sit on your ass and literally you're going to go through an exorcism. It's going to be a brutal battle between you and your soul. You, the ego, the avatar, and your soul. Because it doesn't want to sit in silence. It doesn't want you to win. It has been trained to become a parasitical energy in your daily life. And it has been controlled by a machine that you need to understand. You don't have to know all of its parts. Just like, I don't know how my toaster works. I just know I need to put 2 slices of bread, pull the lever, and I get toast in about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm talking about basic shit, but basic shit that for some people is still considered esoteric knowledge. If that makes sense. Anyway, sending you much love on your journey. This will be on YouTube. Much love. Namaste.